People always ask me two questions as a math teacher, and from this, I'm sure you can figure out what the questions are and the answer to them. Believe it or not, on the AP calculus exam, the answer is only worth half a point. All of your work is what gives you your points. And no, I don't accept pen for work. So when you're asked to solve a literal equation, when I think of the word literal, I think of English, literature. You can look at this first equation, area of a trapezoid, and not have any idea what you're solving for. I don't have an X where it's obvious what I'm solving for. In a literal equation, you must be told which letter to solve for. So in this equation, we're going to solve for H. I could have asked you to solve for B1 or B2 or H. We're going to solve for H. So I always like to keep an eye on what my H is doing, and it's right here. And the first thing I notice is the 1/2 in the front, and I don't like the 1/2 in the front. So I'm actually going to take and multiply both sides by 2. Now why can I do this? How many terms are actually right here? I have one term that is 3 factors. I have a factor of 1/2 times a factor of B1 plus B2 times a factor of H. That is one term. If I multiply this one term by 2, so I'm multiplying this whole term by 2, the 2 and the 1/2 are actually going to cancel to 1. So I'm going to end up with 2A equals B1 plus B2 times H. I'm still solving for H. This side is still one term. So I'm going to erase that so we can actually do some math. This side is still one term. These are 2 factors, 1 factor, 2 factors. In order to split factors that are multiplied together, I just simply divide. So I'm going to divide by the factor of B1 plus B2 on both sides. The B1 plus B2 will cancel, leaving me H is going to equal 2A over B1 plus B2. So let's talk about this. In this, I have 3 terms on the left, 1 term on the right. Each term has 2 factors. A B and an X are multiplied together. B is a factor, X is a factor. Okay, again, I didn't tell you what to solve for, so we're going to solve for X. Like I said in the previous page, I like to keep an eye on my variable. Well, my variable's in 2 separate terms. So your first step must be to isolate the terms with the variables. So there are 2 terms with the variable of X, the first one and the second one. So what I need to do is I need to isolate these 2 by getting rid of this one. And I think we're all on the same page here. We're going to subtract CH to the other side. So what we're left with is BX plus UX equals ER minus CH. You can't subtract ER and CH because they're not like terms. Like terms must have the same exact variables. Now, I have a problem here. I can't divide by B because if I divide by B, I will get rid of it here, but it will be under here. Can't divide by U, same difference. So what I need to do is I need to notice that these have a common factor of X, and I'm going to factor out the common factor. I think some of you probably call it reverse distributing. So I'm going to take this common X, I'm going to factor it out. I will be left with B plus u. When I reverse distribute, I always then in my mind redistribute to make sure that I did it right. X times b will give me bx, x times u will give me ux. So, yes, in my mind, in my math, I factored correctly. And on the other side, I would be left with ER minus CH. Okay, well now my x is isolated. It is a factor. Remember, this now is one term. I have a factor of x times a factor of b plus u. So I can now just divide by the factor of b plus u. The b plus u will cancel, leaving me x equals ER minus CH over b plus u. Now, I know some of you were taught this heart thing, that this goes over that, but this also goes over that. So I could also write this as ER over b plus u minus CH over b plus u. And for right now, either of these would be acceptable. Last example. Again, I'm going to tell you what to solve for. We're going to solve for x again. And I know some of you seeing the fractions and some non-fractions freak out, but I'm going to be really honest with you. Why can we not just clear the fraction out? If I multiply both sides by m, this m multiplies by this term, they cancel, leaving me x. This m will multiply by two terms, m times a and m times this term. Well, m times a gives me m times a. When I multiply this m times the second term, this m and the denominator will cancel. So I get h minus x. I'm now solving for x, so I've got to get these x's to the same side. So I'm going to add an x to this side. And I get 2x equals ma plus h. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Also know that I could also multiply by the reciprocal, multiply both sides by 1/2, same as dividing by 2. I will end up with x equals ma over 2 plus h over 2, or you could leave it for now, ma plus h over 2. I prefer this side, just because when solving for y, for the equation of a line, you want to split it up so you have a slope and a y-intercept.